So I'll try that out.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Kelly.
Nice to meet you.
Gabe. Yeah. We went to college together.
Got it. Nice to meet you.
Fred knows dirt. Dude, isn't it weird not having like homework?
I do.
What?
I'm
Oh, because you're doing masters.
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's good. It's just like assignments here and there, and then like whenever every other weekend I probably have like an essay or something.
Okay.
My
So
first
it's kind of like induction, honestly. Like a little
yeah,
bit.
well, it's just like weekly stuff, like discussion boards, and it's
Hopefully you can tell me
for
something different.
the
Oh,
Pacific,
this.
it's like a lot of like religious
Yeah, I-
assignments.
Oh, okay, okay.
Supposed to
So, it's
be
pretty cool. It's
corrected as of 2 months
So
ago.
you're going through FPU.
Mhm.
Would you recommend it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're doing, I'm guessing, masters in education, like in
Uh,
educational leadership. or
Just
whatever.
kinesiology.
Oh, you're doing kinese.
Mhm.
Oh, whoa. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you do it, if you can. Me
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Jeffrey,
Hmm?
Me and Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Oh, Pasternak. Holy cow! How's he doing? Is he over in Bakersfield? Did he get the job?
I don't know, but I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome for him. Okay.
Yeah, man. Going through it.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta have a lot on your plate right now, man.
So.
How are you balancing that? Are you doing okay?
Yeah, she's helping out a lot.
Good. Yeah. 'Cause I'm feeling the weight of it all. There's a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
And with a master's program on top of that, that's nothing to sneeze at.
How far is it? 45 minutes.
I'm hoping we can figure out a lot of answers for this, so we can kind of check this off the list. This has been looming in the back for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Did they have you coaching wrestling or anything?
Yeah, no.
Oh, look at the, I didn't even notice, come on.
Oh. I won a championship
Seriously?
for it was like it's our second year being back.
Okay.
And won we had like 35 kids. That's a lot.
Heck yeah.
And
You can't even fit them all in the gym, that's great.
yeah, like, we need another room 'cause- and then we had like 10 girls. So we
Whoa,
went
that's
to-
high for girls.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
We had 14 in a lineup, so we had 10, so we almost had 4 girls.
Heck yeah.
So now we're just trying to do it.
Yeah, yeah. The thing about that like big wave of a season, you have to keep that momentum going, you know? You can't let it like
Yeah,
just.
they're all like riled up right now, but they're all in their spring sports, but whoever doesn't have spring sport, I'm like, I would do that. I just would.
Okay.
I'm like, just do the weight room.
So you're doing weight room too?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You're
You're doing everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, her and
I'm trying to stay involved and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah. Well, they know you're serious. I mean, they've known you for how long? But that's awesome that you're getting down and dirty and doing everything.
I'm
Not slacking.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm just doing so much stuff
Oh,
in college, so
Yeah.
like, I'm just being out to like, sit in the night because of our classes and stuff.
I'm,
so,
Yeah. No, for real.
yeah.
You've been getting enough
I
sleep?
made the decision
Yeah.
kind of on the fly.
I'm now I have, during wrestling season, I was waking up in the morning to go work out,
Because
but now I can sleep in, I just work out while I watch the weight room.
kids being in
Yeah.
So awesome. That's actually
Like,
like,
and then I do,
I can take care of it.
Oh, yeah, it's so I take it down. It seems like a lot, but to go out on the weekends, I make sure homework's done before that. So if I have to stay in and work out Saturday, then so be it, I have to tell my friend.
dude, you've got a good balance, guys. That's great.
That's I think.
Are you commuting or did you move out?
I would
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm literally in the same boat. I got a new car that was more fuel efficient.
Oh, you
And,
didn't go already Bronco?
oh no, the Bronco is the new fuel efficient car. Yeah. Because it still gets almost 30 miles a gallon. Yeah?
They're picking up.
They're pretty sweet. Yeah, it's not bad. So what are you driving now?
I have a 2025 heavy tractor.
Hey, those are nice. They kind of look like the Broncos a little bit, like the same compact SUV.
Yeah, I like how it's like sporty, small.
When you start.
Yeah, the compact SUVs are the way to go, especially for like equipment and stuff. I literally can throw all of our like stuff in there and just be good.
Like one of my seats now.
It doesn't slow down. We're almost done with our first year. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, it's yeah. We were losing, yeah.
Did Dodgers win yet? No. And he walked out of the room and I go,
Yeah, the opportunity.
The Dodgers win this
great, and then
not only will he know,
Yesterday
the
was
whole
crazy.
mountain's gonna know.
No.
Sure as the world.
No, we've kind of been pushing mountains off as we could, like. They were good. The wind was not fun, but they were good. I've been trying to work, I think we're gonna go April 23rd and go to the Sarcola, James Monroe, which is kind of by your school. And then I wanna take Lori out to Verinda to see Scott. So you yes, so you'll there as well.
I gotta see him at the track meet. Do that.
Oh, okay.
Are we expecting a few more?
So-
Bob, did your person join?
I'm waiting for confirmation from Scott and Whitney, but kind of keep that in the back.
Anyone
of my
expecting anyone else?
mind. Yes, April.
How does the signage sheet look? Is it full?
I'll put it in just in case.
Yeah, and I'll send an official.
I hate repeating myself, so.
Looks full.
Okay, well, let's get started. I don't want to waste your time. It's not going to take too long. About 45 minutes or so, an hour. But we wanted to get together and talk about our culminating activity for year one. It should all be year one, yes? Okay, for ECO or year two, your tomorrow night or the next night. So. All right, year one. Before I jump into that, I have a little bit of bad news for you. The standards are changing, I think I told you that. And so the standards that you're using for your induction service right now are called 2009 California Standards for the Teaching Profession, 09 CSTPs. They rewrote the standards and published them in 2024 and have instructed induction organizations programs to start using those standards in the fall of 2026. We've decided to start in the fall of 2025. So that puts you in a little bit of a bad spot because you're going to be transitioning to the new standards in the fall. So I recommend looking them up. They're being published. You can just Google 2024 CSTPs. You'll notice that standard 1 is really different and the other standards are pretty similar. There's a lot of equity, diversity, inclusion, social emotional, getting to know your students, building community, all that's part of the new standards. So what that means is that you're about to take this self-assessment again in April, so you can compare the, and I'm going to talk about that tonight. If the new assessment is available in the fall, you'll have to do it again. If it's available. As of right now, it's been written but not published. So, and I don't know quite what the holdup is, but it has something to do with the legislature and they're going, yeah, we're not going to release it. So, those would be the 2024 CSTP self-assessment that will be done in the fall. So that'll affect your writing of goals and assessment and working the whole 9 yards. We have also seriously revamped the journals for a variety of reasons. We think that they're more laid out in the fashion that you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, where and when, and removes a lot of ambiguity from it. Especially this year, it seems like I had an expectation, my readers had a different expectation, my mentors had a different expectation, my induction had it, and candidates had a different expectation, and we got a variety of all of that coming back, and then nobody really could say this is exactly what we wanted, and so a lot of frustration up there. So we revamped the journals and spelled it out for you exactly what you're supposed to be doing when. We've even created journals for August and September that are very different. And hopefully it's not just adding new work, but making the work meaningful and reflective. So anyway, change is coming.
Will it be the same format as far as like how often we need to meet and things like that? Okay.
Yes, that hasn't changed. So the standards, the program standards say that we're supposed to meet 1 hour a week to go over your induction phase.
with the standards that we picked for the beginning of this year, we could use those to put throughout the rest of this year?
This year, absolutely.
Like for, okay.
Any, you all see this? There's 6 elements, I think, in standard 1 right now. It moves to 4 and 4 for 1 and 2. And then 5, 4, and 5. We're still not going to write to standard 6. It's still professional development. But one of the things we're going to do is change the way we do our CSTP questions. So for next year, you will be asked questions only on standards 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to highlight one element, and we'll ask you 3 questions about that element. And that actually starts in August.
Those the blue question?
And I haven't published this yet, but the dates are pretty accurate for next year already. The basic guidance coming out. And I don't think I put the journal in. This is the new journal look. See how it looks different? So we're going to highlight this as a separate spot instead of saying it's part of that long-term analysis and building the confusion of where does it go and what am I supposed to do. So you have these 2 questions, and then we're going to have you look at an article or a video at the beginning of the year and answer some questions. And then every month we're going to ask you, how did you build classroom culture? Because it relates to the standards so well. Every month you'll have something that you'll talk about how you build culture in your classroom. Notice that we did away with just-in-time questions. So those conversations are still happening. Where it's indicated that it's happening are going to be on the collaboration logs for the mentors. But the induction candidate, we've had the discussion, what feedback we've gotten is this seems redundant, why do we also have to write about it? So that's been eliminated. And then starting in August and September, there are no questions at all about your ILP, because you're barely writing your ILP.
That makes sense.
But when we do the ILP and journal writing, you know how you wrote your goals that night? This year you're going to write your goals, your pathways, and your outcome all on the same night. It'll be done by the end of September instead of by the end of October. And we're going to check it that night to make sure everything's good so that we won't get them kicked back and have them returned. And we're still fixing them in February. So, starting in October, we're going to ask you questions about your ILP. Including even focus students. Here's the blue questions. And then in October you have that student survey reflection and you've done a 20-minute video of it. So this is the part that will change every month at the bottom, the assignments. Peer observations. in November. And anyway, that's our,
And that's year 2, or, well,
that'll be fair. But the difference is that year 1, their CSTP questions will be on standards 1 and 2. And year 2, the questions will be on standards 3, 4, and 5. And I don't know yet what we'll do about ECO, which is not due.
I have a question, just
Yeah.
because I noticed something already on there. Like, for the focus students, like I saw, what if we don't have a specific group of students? Like, I don't teach any students with any 504s, IEPs, that's not my, they're not allowed in my classroom.
Do you have students that are outliers?
No,
They're all the same.
I can't have any students in my room that have an IEP if
I know.
don't.
If you have a student that's an outlier, it's like, huh.
I teach tier 3, so they're all
You teach what?
tier 3,
Tier 3.
PBIS
So
class.
they're all there.
They're all there,
Yeah,
but they don't have any IEP.
That's fine,
Okay,
that's fine.
I just wanna make sure that I
You
can.
do have that, you have a subgroup that represents that.
Okay,
And then if you don't have an EL student, that's okay.
okay.
And the idea is that you're showing evidence of working within the subgroups that you have in the classroom. Make sure it's easy. That's it. All right. Back out of this. Okay. All right, so. Why do we have to do this? This seems like, gosh, we've done all this work. Why are you making us come and do this? There's a couple of reasons. One, we want you to be able to articulate how you've grown as a teacher from August all the way to April. And you should be able to say, I know I'm a better teacher because I can do this. Okay? How have you grown as a teacher? And we want to give you a chance to articulate that. We want you to take a victory lap. Yay, you finished your first year, you're halfway home. I want you to celebrate that. And the program uses this as a way for us to continually grow. So we're collecting data on the interviews that we're doing and then making adjustments going forward. And we've made a lot of adjustments already, but we're constantly thinking how can we get better as a program. Okay? Here are the dates, and I believe they're written on your agenda. And I believe Jessica's already sent you an invite, and you may have already signed up for a date. Yes?
yes.
Okay. And mentors, we want you to come twice and sit on a panel, but you don't necessarily have to sit this first time with the year ones. You can come earlier if you want to sit on a year 2 panel and kind of figure out what's going on and get some insight as what's happening. We find that mentors being on a panel is great professional development and growth as a coach. And you will actually get ideas. Some of the ideas go, man, that's great, I want to write that down and use it. And some are, I'm so glad that person's not mine. Thank you. I'm kidding. All right, so connect with Jessica if that hasn't happened yet. Okay, real important, and I just kind of yelled at my readers to make sure this is happening. But you want to make sure that all your Google Classroom work is up to date and any corrections have been resubmitted and everything is good to go. We're going to double, triple check before you come for your interview. And if there's anything outstanding, it's got to be corrected before we'll let you sit for the interview. Okay? So just know, we're going to check, double check, triple check, make sure everything's good before you sit down. Okay, here's the format. We're going to give you 15 minutes to go through your interview. I would encourage you to come early, because sometimes we get ahead, and if we can get ahead and fit you in, my mentors want to go home just as much as you do, and so if we can start early, we'll end early. But we're not going to let it really go overtime, because we're trying to get 3 interviews done in an hour. The panel will be at least 2 mentors that you don't know and an administrator. So we're working hard at getting an administrator on all of our panels. An administrator doesn't always happen, and sometimes there's 4 or 5 people on your panel, but a minimum of 2. And they want a chance to gossip, calibrate and collaborate after you're finished. And so they're going to talk about, did you see this? Yeah, I heard that. And put down your score. They are not going to tell you their score. I will tell you via email the next day. So I'll let you know. And some have asked, can we have our rubrics back? And I'm going to tell you the answer is no. And we talked about it at great length in our team meetings and discussed the pros and cons of giving you the rubric back with your scores, and decided it's just best if we don't. Plus, it's really difficult. I've got 170 induction candidates. Trying to scan them and email them to you would take hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And we'll go from there. Here's the results. That night you will either meet the standard, yay, you're ready for year 2, or you haven't met the standard yet. And there's a 2-tiered intervention. One is, and 98% of the time it's a phone call, and I'll ask you some questions about some information that we didn't hear, and we'll have a real friendly conversation. You don't have to be afraid, because it's not meant to be a gotcha. And we'll go from there. And on occasion, I'm trying to think back the last 6 years, even before the pandemic when we were doing this, I've only had like 4 or 5 candidates that may come back and re-present. And that's only if it's a disaster. None of you at this table are going to have that problem. We're going to soar right through this and be fine. And I just let you know that most of the time it's just a fix.
But for year 1s, they're not presenting, it would just be a re-interview, correct? Okay.
Correct.
Just want to make sure, like, that's 2 different.
Yes. All right, any other questions? It will be here in this building. I'm sorry to make you drive all the way there to do that. Most of you are from Chowchilla, Sherman Thomas,
Yeah, right.
Liberty.
Sherman Thomas.
Sherman Thomas,
You got it.
right the first time. All right, Ryan Ruger, I remember that much. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to ask. And I'm going to tell you that you can bring in notes, but here's what I don't want you to do. And it did happen last year. I don't want you to read your answers. Because you have all the questions tonight, and we're going to look at the rubric, and you're going to examine that, and you're even going to start writing tonight. What I don't want you, though, is to bring the questions in with your paragraph answer and read that to the panel. I want you to interact with the panel. So if you have notes, that's fine. There's some data points that you might need, things you're not going to be able to remember. But I want you to interact with the panel, look them in the eye, and talk with them. Okay? Tell us who you are, where you're teaching, where you got your credential, prior experience. Pretty simple. Okay. First question is, what was your ILP goal and your motivation for choosing it? So I want you to look at the rubric, and when the person sitting next to you or your mentor, I want you to describe the difference between a 2 and a 3.
It's an additional reason.
I'll hold this.
Continue. Don't understand what that is.
Steve, should we be talking about goal 1 or goal 2? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter?
One goal.
Who's going there?
Ask that question, and wait, guys, good question came up, great question. Are you supposed to talk about goal 1, goal 2, goals?
Or should you pick one?
The answer is, it's your choice.
Okay, cool.
To pick one goal. Pick one goal.
I would say
It's a very,
Collaboration.
okay.
In the evaluation.
So the ILP continuum where you monitor your progress regularly.
Oh, okay.
And then two other reasons. So was it like?
One reason,
Okay.
two.
Goal one, which is using the students' prior knowledge of. Oh, wait, okay.
What's the difference between this and this,
Oh,
right? Yeah.
Okay, just real quick clarify. So it's not motivation, it's the explanation of the continuum.
so it's in one reason.
I'm trying to remember.
Sounds like you all have the same question.
Yeah, no, I think it was when we went through and like highlighted like where we were.
That's what I,
Was that the case?
Oh, that.
Yes.
Yeah. Selena stuff.
yeah. I did not cough on the hand up there.
You're
All right.
I don't know, I'm allergic to something.
What's the key element for picking your goal? So you're gonna tell